See, every film is a different film, but every time you set out to make, you're still like making your first film, because every film is a journey, and you have to walk that journey. You never know what are the problems you're going to face, and every film gives you a different joy. Every film will find a different identification with people. Like with Three Idiots, a lot of students watch films, so they found an identification with the film, and then so once you make the film, then it's what happens to the film is what people do to the film. So like PK, I was always thinking that I'm treading on a territory which is a less popular territory. Three Idiots has a more popular sentiment. So, but something happened, people found identification with that, God knows what, they still put it up there. In China it worked. So every film has its own destiny. We never know who will see what in that film and make it their own. So what we can't control. What we can control is trying to make the film to the best of our abilities. See, I've not consciously gone out and said that, okay, now I have to give out this message. So if you take Madhavan MBBS, for example, I love that world of a medical college. So we made a film. Now when you're writing a script, it's a world which you've seen. So all that you've experienced comes out in the script, and your beliefs come out in the script. So if in MBBS, I was believing that doctors should be compassionate, otherwise they shouldn't become doctors. So that came out. One didn't really step out to say that, okay, I'm going to give a message. So all that happens very subconsciously. Finally, you want to make engaging and entertaining films. So even in this film, this I have not written, so that's written. So once you get engaged, you will take home something. This is a sports film, like Lagan was a sports film. Right. When I look at Lagan is one of my most favorite films. So there's no obvious message, but I still take back a message home that of inspiration, of fighting against odds and rising. So I think every sport film is usually a film about an underdog fighting odds. So it's motivating. So possibly you will get inspired and go back home. See, I went to the censor board with the film, and even I was worried that they're removing, at least I'd heard they're removing this word from the films. And now I have this in the title. I also have a song, title song, which is called Saala, Khadoos. So, but I should say I was pleasantly surprised. They had no objections to anything. And after the censor got done, we got a UA. Then after it was done, then I spoke to them. I said, I've heard these stories, and what happened? I was worried. You all didn't censor anything. And the reply I got was, he says, you get to hear these stories, but you don't get to actually hear the real story. He says, most of the time when we've cut a Saala, there's also been another word attached to that Saala. There's an abuse attached to the Saala, which has also gone. But then somebody goes into the media and says, ki, hamara Saala nikal diya. So when we see in the context of this film, he said, this is like a family film. It's a proper family film. It's been set, Saala has been set in such innocence. So there's no need to. We are not dumb people. So really what gets created in what people say or what you read is probably a little different from what you experience sometimes.
In 15 years, I've done 11 films. And what happens is when you do those kind of films that you really want to do, you stay in the public memory for longer. People who started with me are nowhere today, I think. So you have to be very careful with the way the public has evolved, the intelligence of the public, and you cannot afford to insult them when they come to see a movie. So my endeavor has to be always find a script that will push the boundaries and go take it to a different level. So on those, when you try to do things like that, you break the mold, you'll always find resistance. So it's very difficult to convince sometimes people that, Thunderbirds, Manu is a good script, trust me, the director is a great director, he's very good. But only when the film gets made and released does, the people see it. So I have been very lucky with Saala Khadoos that Rajuji saw the merit in the film. One I would have gone through with the same thing in this film. So usme lag jata hai 3-4 saal for me to convince the people.
I think these are incidental. Nobody really plans that, Some things happen, people come across stories, and like I was making PK, oh my God, happened at the same time. This time we were making Saala, Khadoos, and Maricom happened before us. So when we start thinking that we've got a unique subject, but possibly some more people at the same time think about similar subjects. So I don't think it's very coincidental.
It's every time there's a sports film, there'll be a comparison, right? But Chak they released 9 years ago, and after that, they released a film called $1 Million Baby in the US. But somehow nobody in India said, hey, $1 Million copied from Chak De. But if we make a film which is on a coach and a boxer, they say, is it similar? Is it copied? Is it a spin-off? So I don't understand why if Hollywood makes it, it becomes original. If we make it, it becomes a duplicate or a copy. So there's no comparison. There is absolutely Nothing, of course, the similarity is that Mary Kom is also about a lady boxer and how she became the world champion. For us, it's about two broken people and how they achieve what they're supposed to through boxing. So I think therein lies the similarity.
See, like, there'll be at least 40-50 love stories which get made every year. So the theme is love, here the theme is boxing. But those love stories are very different from each other. So for generations, for hundreds of years, we're making love stories, but stories are different. So this is, yes, the similarity is the theme, but it's a story which has been completely differently
It's a
told.
nice one, yeah.